Morning, all. All right, so we've got 5 games on tonight, not 6, because the Nashville Dallas game, much like last night, and I knew this was coming. That's why that's on this side of the board. So when I set this up last night, I thought, all right, I'll put the players' names on in the morning, and I left them all blank because I had a feeling this one was going to get postponed again. So Dallas, due to the pressure on their power grid, which is too much. It's too cold. They're not used to these kinds of cold temperatures. Their power grid cannot handle the amount of energy needed. The city of Dallas basically asked politely yesterday for the NHL to shut the game down, and they did. And I figured today was going to get shut down as well, and it has been. So this is different than other shutdowns we've seen, and hopefully the city of Dallas, hopefully things get warmer for you guys down there, and all the best. Seriously. And this is one of those things where, and I've seen some comments like, hey, they can't handle some cold weather. Well, no. It's sort of like if we had Las Vegas heat here for a day, there's no way this area could handle that. Like, we got down to Vegas and it was just, it's, 45 degrees Celsius. No, no, so that's how that works. When you get weather that your area is not used to, you just don't know how that's going to affect people. So I don't tend to laugh so much when I hear they got how much snow and they got less than we did and they can't handle it. Well, no, they're not used to it. So just like in Canada, everybody makes fun of the part of the country here because when we get snow, we don't handle it as well as the rest of the country because we're not as used to it as they are. So again, hopefully everything's okay in Dallas and games in Dallas can resume quickly. The one biggest problem with last night's was that they didn't cancel it soon enough. There were already people at the building because remember they're letting fans in attendance in these games, so people had already made long drives to be there. And the NHL at the very last minute goes, "Oh yeah, all right, well we'll shut that down." So that's where the mistake. And I don't know if that's on the league, if that's on the team itself, or what it is, but it should have been canceled early in the day yesterday. So that's an issue right there. So we have 3 games starting at 4 o'clock Pacific, 7 o'clock Eastern, and then we have 2 starting 3 hours later. Pretty simple, pretty basic. The New York Islanders in against Buffalo. The Islanders are 7-4-3. Buffalo 4-5-2. So this is a rematch of last night, where Buffalo just runs out of gas in the third period. That's how I saw it. They just didn't have anything in the third period, and being out of action for 15 days will do that. So Brock Nelson, 3 goals, 3 assists. He's been off to a bit of a slow start, but he got a goal last night. We'll see if he can keep that up. Casey Cizikas, part of the hardest working line in hockey, or one of them. One of them, because I can't just come out with that statement without 500,000 people telling me below why this team is the hardest working line. What are you talking about? The hardest working line is any line that has Jake Virtanen on it. So yeah, Cizikas, 3 goals, 1 assist. I think he's been off to a decent start, and that line is very key for the Islanders. Now for Buffalo, Olofsson, 5 goals, 6 assists for him, so he's at a point a game right now, which is good, very good. If he can keep that up, it's surprisingly good. And I had expected him to play pretty well, but that's a surprisingly high total. Taylor Hall, 1 goal, 8 assists. The 1 goal part, problematic, and he is below a point a game now, so you'd have to think that there's some concern about Buffalo and with Hall that the production just isn't where you want it. Also at 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 Pacific, the 6-4-3 Washington Capitals in against the 7-5-1 Pittsburgh Penguins. Pittsburgh seems to like playing against Washington, and it's not just this season. Outside of the 2018 playoffs, Pittsburgh does pretty well. This is the 81st matchup between Crosby and Ovechkin. Backstrom, 7 goals and 11 assists, quietly having an excellent season for Washington. Arguably, maybe his best season, period. Carlson, 4 goals and 8 assists on the blue line, doing what Carlson does, producing a ton of points. On the Pittsburgh side, Brian Rust, 5 goals, 8 assists. He took what was seemingly a career year last year, where even I said, we can't equal this again, and he looks to be bettering it. And Jason Zucker, 3 goals, 2 assists. It's the depth guys that could make the difference for Pittsburgh in the end, and we'll see how he does and how the Penguins do tonight. And then at the same time, we will have the New Jersey Devils back on the ice. Yes, we've got 3 teams on the board that had extended time off. Only Philly is on this side of the board now. So at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, New Jersey in against the Rangers. So if you're going to get back to work, you might as well do it against a team you can't stand. Here comes the Rangers. So 4-3-2 is the record for New Jersey. 4-6-3 is the record for the Rangers. Nikita Gusev, only the 1 assist so far for New Jersey. Subban, only 3 assists so far for New Jersey. They need some guys to start scoring that haven't yet. And of course, coming off of the long break, a lot of players being on that COVID list, you have to have some concerns for how they might work tonight, especially looking at how Buffalo was tonight. Or last night. Zibanejad, a goal and 2 assists for him. He's got to break out of this. And he's been getting opportunities, so you think at some point he's going to have... Once that first goal goes in to end this drought of his, you think it's just going to start rolling for him. And Lafreniere, who again seems to have had chances in the last game. He's been on and off. 1 goal so far for him this year. At some point it has to turn around, right? Then we get to 3 hours later, 7 o'clock Pacific, 10 o'clock Eastern. And the Colorado Avalanche in against the Vegas Golden Knights. The first game was fantastic between these two. Can't wait to see the other games in this series. The Avs now 7-4-1, Vegas 10-2-1, and it was a big test for Vegas, and they passed with flying colors. Nathan MacKinnon 2 goals and 12 assists. He'll want to start producing at a higher rate for Colorado, I would think. Nazem Kadri 3 goals and 4 assists for him. Solid second line center for the Colorado Avalanche. And his production has been good in recent games. I say recent, and yet they did have that long break. So we'll see if that breaks up some of the hot streaks and if it helps get some of these guys back on track. Pacioretty on the Vegas side, 7 goals and 5 assists for him. He's been excellent. And Cody Glass, 2 goals and 5 assists. A limited number of games for Glass this year. So he seems to be taking that next step, and it's important for Vegas that he does that. One question mark for Vegas, which may still be out there while they have this excellent record, is how are they at developing players, developing young guys that they've drafted? With Glass, they appear to be doing a good job. Then at 10 Eastern, 7 o'clock Pacific, the 6-5 Minnesota Wild are back, so I'm wearing Minnesota because they're back. In against LA at 4-6-3. So none of the teams, because Dallas is postponed. None of these games are going to have an emotional component for me other than probably cheering for the underdog and probably just enjoying some really good hockey. And I'm looking forward to this because the 6-5 Minnesota Wild should be, by all accounts, probably the 4th place team in the West. And especially after the article I read today in Arizona, I'm going to go ahead and say that they should probably get there. 4-6-3 is the record for the LA Kings. Now, on the Minnesota side, Eriksson Ek seems to be taking that next step. And we talk about guys taking that next step. When is it going to happen? And for Eriksson Ek, it seems to have finally arrived this year. 5 goals, 4 assists for him so far. Spurgeon, who's excellent at both ends of the rink, just the 2 assists so far to his record. On the LA side, Brown is off to a fantastic start. 6 goals and 6 assists for him. Can he keep that up? We'll see. It's possible after all that time off, the veterans in LA, refreshed, ready to go, healed up, might play the best they've played in years. And Gabriel Velarde, who's getting opportunities, he's playing well, but the points don't back it up right now. 3 goals and 1 assist for him thus far this season, and we'll see if he can pick it up. So, Philadelphia's the only team that's on this side of the board. The one game that was postponed before this one was New Jersey versus Boston was originally supposed to happen. Or no, that's wrong. That's wrong. Unless they rescheduled it. I was pretty sure when I put it on the board that was still there, but I think that was from yesterday. What's the day of the week anymore? It's not listed. There isn't anything listed as postponed anymore. So I'll just make that's the one that's postponed for today, and maybe I can retire this. That'd be nice if I could just retire that part of the board, and then we don't have to talk about who is or isn't playing. Philadelphia is supposed to be back on Thursday. It's supposed to be back in the ice today. So, all right, now I got to do a news of the day video after this and discuss what I read this morning. And to some extent, because I tell you, if you don't read The Athletic, if you need an article to convince you that The Athletic's worth it, and I've had a subscription for a while now, the article on the Arizona Coyotes from today is absolutely worth that. So, look forward to reporting on that. And hey, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below regarding who you think is going to win these games. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through, you just happened upon this video. And hey, I will talk to you guys again soon.